right, I'm gonna shut that down there. So we'll go ahead and start this. Get this show on the road. So welcome everybody to fall semester 2020. Just what you imagine your first semester at Cal Poly Pomona would be like, right? No.
No, not at all.
No,
not
at all.
exactly.
Yes, yes.
Very sad.
You guys should just reach over and say hi to each other. It is sad, it's disappointing, and not just for you guys, but for everybody that's involved in higher education. But the main point is it's global. It's not just Cal Poly Pomona. It is global. There are some places that are opening back up, but even if the COVID situation flatlined, I don't see this class coming in person because there is 70 students in this class. And there's no way we would be able to socially distance this class unless we met at the baseball field or something. But maybe if there was some magical sprinkle dust that we could come up with, then we could all come back to classes in person. So I will try to make the best of this class for you guys. And hopefully you guys can learn something from this that you can take forward in your education at Cal Poly Pomona. And when we do get back on campus, you have to come say hello to me in person, okay? It's not a graded assignment, but I'd like to see everybody. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen with you. And we're gonna get moving forward and talk about this class and what it's all about. And can somebody nod? Fern, is that being shared? Thank you. All right. So welcome to, like I said, AVS 1000, Orientation to Animal and Veterinary Sciences. And we just want to go through some things. But you know what? If I could just remind everybody to go ahead and mute their microphone. And then if you guys could all mute your microphone, that would be great. And then we don't have that background noise. I did that the other day and I didn't realize my microphone was on mute, and I was in my office and I got a phone call and I was in the middle of a Zoom meeting for about 3 minutes before I realized that my mute wasn't on camera. So everybody got to hear my conversation. All right, so introductions. What do you guys call me? You can call me Holly. You can call me Prof. Holly, Prof. Green, Professor, but please don't call me doctor because I'm not a doctor. And I will explain the difference between not a doctor and a doctor next week's lecture. So when you guys email me, make sure you put the E at the end of green, because if you do HMGREEN, it will not get to me. I do have an E on the end of my last name. And I will try to respond to you within 24 hours of you sending that email. And then, so because I'm working remotely, like everybody else, due to COVID, I am hosting virtual office hours. And that will be every Tuesday from 3 to 4. The meeting ID and the password will stay the same, and it won't change. And if that time frame doesn't work for you guys, excuse me, then email me and I will set up a private meeting with you so we can talk about what you want to, okay? Let's see, office hours are by Zoom. Did I cover everything on that slide? Oh yeah, when you come to class on campus, my office is in building 2, room 116. Building 2 is the Huntley College of Agricultural building, and that's where the animal science department is located. If you need to call me, my work number does still work, and it's hooked up directly to my email. So any message you leave will come directly to me as an email, and I can hear it, listen to it on my email. Obviously, we're in our meeting time. It's Monday night from 5 to 5:50. This class has only got 1 credit associated with it, so it's only a 50-minute course once a week. Most of these classes will be asynchronous. As much as I'd like to be synchronous the whole time, I think asking everybody to wait till 5 o'clock to take a class when you're not on campus can be a little draining, a little exhausting. I know I was like anxious at 3. I'm like, okay, I want to get this over with so I can finish up my day. So there are going to be a couple of synchronous courses. I have a couple of guest lectures that are coming in, and I think it's really important to meet them through the guest lecture. Carla Young, who works for the USDA as a criminal investigator, is an alumni. from Cal Poly Pomona. And then I also am trying to get Dr. Alexandra Andrikas, who is a veterinary medical officer for the USDA. I'm trying to get her to get a guest lecture. Two of my, which I think are really important lectures that I present to AVS 1000 is we have a talk of the Come to Jesus talk on going to vet school. And I talk about what it takes to get into vet school and what the requirements are and your options in regards to vet school. And I think that might be important to do live, especially if you guys have questions. And then I also have a lecture on what other options besides vet school. So our class is now a combination of pre-vet option. Oh, I forgot to record this. I got to do that. Oh, forget it. It's all right. See, I have a note too that says record, all these things I have to do. Anyway, so there's a lot of, our students used to be just a pre-vet major. And in 2018, the animal science department opened up an animal science option. So it's pre-vet option and animal science option. So I like to try to give a talk also about other options besides vet school, because not everybody is going to vet school, not everybody is a vet school option. So those are two lectures I might make synchronous, but if I decide to do that, I will give you guys fair enough warning and time so you can plan it in your schedule. The nice thing about this being asynchronous is those classes that are asynchronous, you can watch them at any time you want to. So if you can't sleep at 1 o'clock in the morning and you want to be bored by me, then you can watch it at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I will post all the Zoom information and the password. It's in the course schedule already, but if I change things, I will give you guys enough notice. And all of the PowerPoint presentations that I do from the synchronous classes, I will upload into Blackboard as a PDF file. So tonight's PowerPoint has already been uploaded into your Blackboard under the module 1 for what I'm talking about right now. So there's this big list of learning outcomes that we're supposed to talk about. That's what the university wants us to do now that we're virtual. And there's a lot of things that you will learn in this class, but for me, my goal is that you learn about the department, the college, the campus, a little bit about a lot of things about the campus. You learn time management and deadlines and academic planner. And also this semester, we're including what's called a PolyX experience through a project-based learning experience. So you guys will be working in groups. Even if it's virtual, you will be working in groups. And so that increases group dynamics and teamwork. And also we talk about opportunities after Cal Poly Pomona education. Requirement for this class is computer and internet. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, where I live in Sierra Madre, and I am at the end of the bandwidth for where my internet. And during the day, I cannot use Wi-Fi. And if I try to use Wi-Fi, it is so slow because everybody else is sucking up all the bandwidth. Yes, thank you. Sad. And so I am hardwired into my computer. I had to buy an adapter for this to work, but it makes my computer internet reliable. So all assignments will be posted by Blackboard. And you do not have to have a webcam. That's not required, but it is preferred. Then again, most of you guys don't have your face on the screen. You have funny little images or just your name, but that's okay. And then we also have a book. It's called The Moth Presents Occasional Magic, True Stories About Defying the Impossibility. This is part of a common read book that's across campus. It's called the First Year Experience Common Read. And this is the first year I'm bringing it into this class. This is the third year I've taught this class. And this is the first time I'm bringing this into this class. And it's now a requirement from our college level that they want us to include the common read for all of our first year experiences. So I tried to make it as light as possible. I don't like to put more workload on students than is necessary. And so we'll talk about the assignment itself shortly. You know, Fern, if you would do me a favor, if you would monitor if there's any questions in the, on that, because I can't see all of those boxes with my system, how I have it up.
I've already been chatting with them.
Oh, thank you. Are they questions that I should answer?
There hasn't been any questions yet.
Okay, thank you. And I'll introduce Fern in a little bit. You'll find out who she is. So for email, let's see. So all emails and announcements will be sent out via Blackboard, and it'll go to your Cal Poly Pomona email address. That is the official communication method on campus. And so you want to make sure that you do check your Cal Poly Pomona email. If you're having things forwarded to a different email address, make sure it's reliable, because I'm only using Cal Poly Pomona email. I don't use any personal email addresses. So what's my responsibility besides trying to get you guys to have a good education here? I want to make this course as exciting as possible, even if it's remotely. And I'm going to try to get my personality over the computer, which is a little difficult sometimes, but I'm a pretty lighthearted person. I like to make funny jokes that always sometimes I laugh at in my head, maybe other people won't. But I am going to have, sorry, I went too far, sorry. Anyway, so I'm going to try to be well organized. I've been spending a lot of time this summer working on how to teach remotely and try to be as organized as possible. I want to try to make this class interesting, relevant, and meaningful for you. I have looked at my Rate Your Professor, because I do go to that to see what people say about me, because I think it's important. And I have a good score for this class, but some of the comments that people have made that it's a worthless class, a waste of their time, but that I make it fun. And I have found that has been the thought process for a lot of incoming transfer students. But for incoming freshman students, all this is brand new to you. So that's, I think, where a lot of the incoming freshman students get a lot out of this class. And it's not to say that incoming transfer students won't get a lot out of this class, because you will too. I am an ally for all marginalized groups. It doesn't matter who you are, I'm an ally for everybody. So I don't have any sort of prejudice or any thought processes or blinders on my head. And I want to make sure that your student success is not just measured in the classroom. So my teaching style also extends beyond the classroom. So at any time that you guys need some guidance or you have a question, do not hesitate to reach out to me. This semester, or this past summer, I've gotten several emails from students that were in my classes 2 years ago about research or their next step in vet school application, or they decide not to go to vet school, and what do I recommend that they could do, or other options. So I think not just in the classroom, I like to be part of your world outside of the classroom and in my office, or just in general. Student responsibility, common courtesy in the classroom and an online environment. Dang it, I keep hitting the wrong buttons. So we have to have basic respect for each other, even if there is different views or different cultural opinions, sensitivity to cultural and linguistic backgrounds is really important. And when we do provide background or give feedback or give thoughts to our peers, we want to make sure we use good judgment. We want to use professional and proper grammar. And if you can attend these synchronous courses, I'd appreciate that. Email. So if you're going to email me, please in the subject, put AVS 1000.01. I have 3 classes this semester, and I don't want to have to go through each roster to find out which class you're in. So it would be really beneficial if you did that. And you should also use a professional signature with your full name. I'm going to give you an example of what's not a professional signature, especially when you're choosing your own personal email. And I used to work with a lot of graduate students, and I used to manage a research lab, and it was called the Equine Research Center. And one of our graduate students created her personal email that said ERC Philly, and Philly being a female foal. And it just was so unprofessional if you wanted to give somebody your email address as ERC Philly, especially if you want to give that to somebody you're thinking about working for, or you want a job with, or you want to use them as a professional reference. So please remember to try to keep things professional, and that'll be really good for your reputation. And for emails, please allow at least 24 hours response from me. I try to do it pretty rapidly, but sometimes I get a little backed up on some things. All assignments will be posted under Blackboard, and you're going to upload them on Blackboard. Please do not give me a Google link or do not use Pages for your documents. I'd like to have everything done as a PDF format. Everybody can do that in Microsoft Word. You just do a save as PDF. That way it keeps the formatting specific and it doesn't change. And points and due dates are listed within the course schedule. And the due dates are by the end of that date by 11:59 p.m. So I want you to think of this class as a professional obligation. The late work, if you turn in late work, past the due date, 10% of the maximum will be deducted, and there will be no assignments accepted after the more than 4 days. So you have 4 days to turn in a late assignment and lose 10% of the maximum. However, serious situations will be considered and documentation will be required for serious situations. The final for this course is a resume. We do not have a test in this class. There are no exams. There is one quiz, but it's open book. So the final for this class is a resume, and it represents about 12% of your final grade. This is a professional resume, and we'll go through resume writing at another time later on in the semester. So, and we do not meet during finals. So you don't have to worry about this class during finals. Once week 15 ends, you're done. As I said, we're introducing a common read. This is the first year experience common read. It's called Learn Through Discovery. And it's supposed to increase your critical thinking, your creativity, your discovery, your diversity, and your community and global involvement. So for this assignment, this will be the required assignment. So there are 7 sections in this book. So there's 7 sections in the book, and each section has a list of stories. And so I read the entire book, but I'm not going to ask you to do that unless you want to. You can do that on your own time. But we have what's called a peer advisor in our class, and she will talk to you guys in just a little bit. And for part of her involvement in the class is, it's about every 2 weeks. I try to space this out. She will choose a story in the section and talk to you about the story. She'll talk to you about the author, and then she'll also provide you with the podcast link. I don't know if anybody has ever listened to the Moth Radio Hour. I'm a big fan of the Moth Radio Hour. So when I started reading this book, it was really hard for me because I've heard most of these stories. And the Moth Radio Hour is a program where people get up on a stage and they give their story to an audience. And they don't have a script that they read, but although they have been coached on how to deliver their story. And so with the real story, you get that emotion, you get that thought, you get the person's personality. But this, I couldn't get that because it's just words. And so the goal is that Fern will choose one of these stories. So your peer advisor's name is Fern. She will choose one of these stories, and then you will have to write a maximum, okay? 1-page statement. You include your thoughts, how you related, how the story made you feel or think. Did you feel different about the story after listening to the podcast? There's no wrong answer on your 1-page maximum statement about the story. The goal of this assignment is to critique your writing abilities. Part of an incoming freshman and transfer student class is to assess writing skills. So I have to fill out paperwork and say how I feel like your writing style is from the beginning of the class versus towards the end of the class. And so this is my ability to be able to assess your writing styles. One of the most difficult things about being in the sciences with writing is that writing in science is so much different than what we were taught in our English classes in high school and in junior college too. So scientific writing is a much different writing style. We don't talk in first person in scientific writing. So due dates are outlined in the course schedule. Any questions, Fern, from anybody? Okay.
No.
All right. So when I ask for a writing assignment, it's going to be standard. And I think it's really important, not just for this class, but for any class you take, that you follow the writing or the standards or the guidelines that any instructor gives you. For the stories for the book, it will be a maximum, double-spaced, 1 inch, all the way around, your name in the top right-hand corner only. This is all being submitted on Blackboard, so I already know what section you're in, and I already know it's AVS 1000, and I already know that it's Professor Green. I don't need any of that information. And you guys laugh, but I tell you, can you see what this is? If we look at this assignment that was submitted, though it was Jane Doe, I didn't have anybody's name up there. Jane Doe, double space, AVS 1000.02, double space, Tuesday class, double space, Professor Green, double space, and the date. Already 1/4 of the page has been taken. And then there's double space in between the paragraphs. So do not, please, do not do that, because you will lose points by not following formatting. I am a big person on formatting. So this is a really big lesson for all of your classes. If an instructor gives you formatting and maximum or minimum guidelines, you follow them, because otherwise you will lose points. Because we can see that this particular person submitted a 1-page paper, but it's only a 1/2 a page. Okay, so what's not required with the Common Read is the university has an essay contest. And if you are interested in doing this, feel free to do it. The link is in the PDF file that's posted on Blackboard. It is not required. This is optional, but there's a 200-word maximum, and then they choose 3, I think, or they choose people to come in and compete, and then there's there's cash prizes for the top 3. So if you're interested in doing something other outside of the requirements for this book, then this could be it. Project-based learning. This is a new to this class, and this will be an interesting endeavor for me. And it's a university implemented activity, and it's designed for you to work in groups on a project, and will be due on December 1 in a poster format. Obviously, we're not going to be in a hard poster format, but it will be a virtual poster format. And they've already been doing these on campus for certain research activities. And so they've kind of mastered this. It'll be an interesting endeavor to see how it works, because between this class and my Wednesday class, I think I'm going to have 23 groups of students. And I'm not sure how many other classes are doing this activity, but I think it's substantial. But you will get information about this next week in next week's lecture. Breakdown of points and percentages. This is really important to pay attention to. If you decide you don't want to do the resume and you ace everything else, it still drops you below an A. So if you look at Rate My Professor, one student said that she didn't get the A in the class because she forgot to turn in her final resume. It was her own fault, even though I'm a big reminder on some of these stuff. So it'll impact you if you decide not to do the resume. But this is a basic breakdown of the point system and the weight of your grade. I do a standard A through F scoring. I don't do any curving whatsoever, and I do not do extra credit. So please don't ask. This is what I like. This is one of my favorite areas here. So Fern, the sun is coming in right behind you. You look like you have an angel glow all over you. That's okay. I like to give you guys some information that you don't have to be responsible for testing, or you have to go research it, or it's not part of this stress. And I like to bring in what I call veterinary/animal science tip of the week. And so each week I will bring you some sort of little tidbit of information, either on vet science or animal science. And these will be posted as introduction videos in each module. And all I ask is you keep it in your brain. Just put it there, because at one point you're going to hear it in some of your education classes and you'll say, oh yeah, Holly mentioned that. So these are just strictly graded they're strictly information only and tips for your brain, your database up here. I'm hoping that everybody went to Blackboard and was able to access everything. So this will give you the information how to get to the Blackboard. If you haven't gotten into oh, look, we have 68 participants, so I'm only missing 2 students. Anyway, so this will give you an area on how to get into Blackboard. So all your courses are going to be listed under the Blackboard tab under courses. And for this class, the course content, where the red arrow, that's where all your modules will be. That's where all your information will be. You will see generally 1 or 2 modules. You will not see the entire semester. So I'm only going to post 1 or 2 modules each time. And then discussion board is important too. There's a couple of activities on discussion board. I'm going to click on this here, and I'm going to have to stop sharing that screen and then share a different screen. Can you see that technology screen now? Yes?
Yes,
okay. Thank you.
Yes,
All right, so yes, thank you. This is really important for you guys to look at. The link is in the PDF file, and this is the software that you have available through Cal Poly Pomona. So Microsoft Office, if you don't have that, you get a free download through Cal Poly Pomona. Both for Windows and for Mac operating system. If any of these information, so Zoom, everybody has a Zoom account. So, but this is stuff that Adobe Creative Cloud, free until August 2021. So if you don't have Adobe Creative Cloud, download it now, it's free for you. So that's all the software that's accessible to you. Now let's go back to the other screen. And we're back on the PowerPoint. Yes, thank you. Everybody has a OneDrive. If you go into your little wall folder on your MyCPP, you should be able to find OneDrive, which is a backup storage. You can use that to back up all your data so that you can access it anywhere you are. If you happen to leave your computer at one place and you're someplace else, you need to access it, use your OneDrive. That's a really great place to put your data, back it up, and have access it while you're at Cal Poly. Now where are we? Okay, now we're at Fern. So College of Agriculture has this really great program, and it's called the Ag Peer Advising Program, and it's a unique leadership experience for students in the Huntley College of Agriculture. And what the peer advisors do, it allows the students an opportunity to participate in the college's retention and first-year experience efforts. And so the primary duty of our Ag Peer Advisor is to be a resource for all you guys incoming students, both freshmen and transfer students. I have made a discussion board on Blackboard, and it says ask Fern or ask your advisor. I forget what I titled it, but there's a discussion board, a discussion forum under the discussion board that you can directly discuss things with Fern. And she is an excellent resource. She's going to bring you a lot of information. She's going to be involved with this on a weekly basis. So Fern, I'm going to unshare my screen because you should have the ability to share because I made you co-host. Okay, so Fern's going to take a few minutes and introduce herself and talk about what she's going to be doing here and a few other things. Go.
Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I love that you guys are all talking in the chat, and I hope your semester is starting out good despite it being virtual. I'm super excited to be here. My name is Fern Miller, as Holly said, and I'm a third-year animal science student with a pre-veterinary emphasis, and I'm an Ag Peer Advisor. As a peer advisor, I'm here to help you with anything you may need, whether it's resources, homework help, advice to answer questions, or even just a friend. Some of my extracurricular activities include being the treasurer for both the Ag Peer Advisors and the Zoology Club on campus. Some of the things I like to do in my free time include watching TV, hanging out with my friends, and reading. A fun fact about me is that I wear a size 2 in kids' shoes. I'm really tiny and I'm only 4'9", so I'm a really small person. And I've added my email so that you can contact me or reach out if you have any questions. I will
I would
also be
think
adding.
I would say that it's just I'm a tall person next to you. That's all. Not that you're small.
I mean, that's a great way to look at it.
Yes. Go ahead. Sorry.
I will also be adding this presentation to Blackboard this week so that you have access to the information I'm about to share with you. So I'm going to start off with some announcements. The add drop period for the semester ends on September 2nd. For incoming students, make sure to pay all of your orientation fees by September 9th. And if you have received financial aid for the semester, make sure to pay your fee balance also by September 9th. The library is having a virtual welcome week this week with lots of activities for everyone, and I've added the website for you to access it. The peer advisors are also holding 2 raffles. To enter, you just have to follow the Instagram account and fill out the Google form in the description. The next big event is the virtual club fair, which is not only the College of Agriculture, but clubs from other colleges will also be going virtual all week. I've provided the link for the library welcome week and the club fair at the bottom of this slide. So since the club fair is this week, I'm going to discuss some of the agriculture department's clubs. The MyBar link and Instagram accounts to each club will be added to the uploaded presentation on Blackboard so you guys can have access to that. And clubs usually meet during U hour from 12 to 1 p.m. when most classes aren't in session. A study tip from your peer advisors is to teach a friend, family member, or classmate what you've learned in class. This can help your understanding of the concept. With that, let's get started. Our first club today is the Animal Health Science and Technology Association. The AHSTA, gosh, that is a tongue twister, promotes the role of the veterinary technician in clinical practices, laboratory animal care, management, and sales by informing about the major and potential career opportunities. We also have the Livestock Show team. The Livestock Show team provides the opportunity for students to gain hands-on animal experience working with numerous livestock species, and the members choose to work with either cattle, sheep, swine, and prepare them for competition. We also have the Pre-Veterinary Club, which is geared towards students who are interested in going to veterinary school or have an interest in veterinary medicine and working with animals. This club provides guest speakers, community service, and voluntary opportunities, as well as networking with professionals and students in the field. Their first meeting is August 27th at U hour. The Student Association for Animal Science welcomes students with an interest in animal-oriented careers such as farm management, USDA, SBA professions, animal therapy, and zookeeping. They aim to provide students with chances to explore different areas of animal work with guest speakers, group outings to animal facilities, and volunteer and job experience opportunities. The next club is the Cal Poly Pomona Horsemanship Club. The Horsemanship Club helps represent the Kellogg Arabian Horse Center on campus through their participation in the Sunday horse shows held every first Sunday of the month, and they're really fun. During these shows, the team performs in Western, English, saddle seat, and other types of riding that demonstrates the versatility of the Arabian breed, which is one of the breeds we have on campus. The Poly Pearlers is a community that will bring people together through the art of knitting. Not only will you learn a new way to relax, but it'll help you have more steady hands that are needed for performing surgical procedures if you're going into veterinary medicine. Now, there's the Ag Peer Advisors, which I am a part of. From being an FYE teacher's assistant to holding office hours, they are a resource to all the incoming students. We help participate in a variety of college and university activities, such as creating this Aggie Planner, which you guys should have received in the mail. There's also Ag Ambassadors who conduct recruitment for the college at high schools and college fairs and represent the college at campus functions, educational institutions, and industry events. And last but not least, there's the Ag Council, which is an organization for the student clubs within the College of Ag. As the student government, it's the central funding link between the ASI and the College of Agriculture Club. And there's also the Graduate Student Club, which is open to anyone who is a graduate student or an undergraduate student who is interested or thinking about becoming a graduate student. They help spread the interest of the activities and students, faculty, and staff of the college by promoting and implementing spirit, involvement, cooperation, and understanding. A fun fact about your campus is the Kellogg House played a part in World War II. If you have any more questions for me, my office hours are Monday from 10 to 1 and Thursday from 8 to 9. And I have provided the Zoom link and the College of Agriculture's advising email. And that's it.
Fern, could you post your Zoom link on under your discussion board?
Yes, I can do that after this.
That'd be great. Okay, great, excellent. Thank you very much, Fern. Just a real quick, a couple of things I wanted to clarify. The Animal Health Science Technology Club, ASTA is what they call that. That is reserved for only students that are enrolled in our Animal Health Science our major. We'll talk about majors next week, but some of you actually applied to Cal Poly Pomona under the Animal Health Science major thinking it was pre-vet. Animal Health Science major is designed for students who want to go on to become a registered veterinary technician. A nice kitty cat there, Ashlyn. And then horse shows, there are no horse shows right now, unfortunately. But the idea is that the clubs are still active. And so this is a great opportunity for you to still get active with clubs. And my cat must have heard something because he's right there. Are you coming to visit? No. Anyway, so it's a great opportunity to still get involved with clubs, even if it's virtual. And so once we come back to campus, then you're already involved in that club. So I highly encourage you to get involved in the clubs. So let's go back to, I just have a little bit more information, and then we can get some questions in if we want to. Okay, so that's Fern. So who's Holly, right? You guys don't even know who I am. So this is just a small representation of who I am. This is my cat Shadow, who you guys saw in the introduction video. I love the fact that everyone's bringing up their animals. I love that. Shadow is a sink water drinker. He's got his food dish in the kitchen, but he drinks out of the bathroom. And he used to just drink out of the sink, but now I've trained him to actually drink out of a dish. So his water's in the bathroom. I am not afraid of doing dirty or hard work. My major background is horses, which is dirty. Horses get dirty. It's a dirty environment. This picture right here was one day after I had worked on the high-speed treadmill. We have an equine high-speed treadmill. Some of you might have been at open house earlier this year when we actually did have open house and saw the horse on the treadmill. So the treadmill is my nemesis. I broke it down 3 times. I have 2 beautiful grandsons that I'm a part of their life almost daily. Gavin's 9 and Lucas is 7, and they call me Holly. They do not call me Grandma or Mama or G-Ma. They call me Holly. This is my son. Looks just like me, doesn't he? It's a joke. My son just graduated from Cal Poly Pomona, and I'm very proud of him. He graduated magna cum laude, and he's now enrolled in a graduate credential program to be a teacher. And he did his undergraduate degree in 4 years. He stuck to it as a husband and a father, and he also worked. It was a tough 4 years, and he's got a 1-year program that's going to be tough that year. Anyway, so what is my background? So you guys know who I am. I have an associate's degree from Riverside City College in photography, and my bachelor's and my master's are both from Cal Poly Pomona. My bachelor's was in animal science with an equine industry option. We had that then. And then my master's is the area of information, or my research study was equine exercise physiology. Primarily it was high altitude physiology in horses. I have been here for a while, but I have a lot of information. I know how the system works. I know how to direct students. I've held many jobs, and I always love this one here, multi-diverse research technician. So what does that mean? It's just, they didn't know what to do with me, so I stuck that in there. Anyway, so I've been in my present position since 2017, and I do animal compliance and safety for the College of Agriculture, which means I make sure that all of the animal units, sheep, swine, cattle, and horse, they all function under USDA guidelines. And so I make sure that they are in those guidelines so that we do not get in trouble. And I also teach, and I love teaching. That's why you guys have me. My research background, I have a very strong research background. So anything from ground squirrels to dairy cattle, ostriches and emus, and also lots of areas within a horse. So I talked about your veterinary tip of the day. This is your very first one. I love breaking words down. So with ground squirrels, we looked at muscle morphometrics. So what is morphometrics? It basically is the shape and the quantity, the qualitative analysis of the form of that shape. So that's the word morphometric. That's what that means. So this is just some pictures of stuff I've done. This is a Cushing's horse that, then we have abscesses in swine. And this is a bull reproductive exam, and you will do this in one of your classes. Fluid therapy in calves. Horses are always finding something to stick in their eyes or something to cut themselves with. And then we have a prolapsed uterus out of a ewe. And when I teach my equine class, I have them paint the skeletons on horses because I think that learn by doing is the best. So hopefully this works for you guys. This is an emu on the treadmill. We did a biped study where we looked at ostriches and emus, and we looked at the oxygen consumption. So eventually these animals learned how to take a mask over their face, their beaks. Emus, if you think about an emu, their head is about this size, and their brain is probably the size of a piece of rice. And I mean that in a funny way, but their retention was none. Emu A would be great on Monday, but Emu A would be horrible on Tuesday. So there was no continuity with these guys. This is one of my favorites to share with people. This is a horse on a treadmill. It's very loud in there, as you can tell. I left the volume up on this one. And this was part of a graduate student's research project. This is Sprite. She is still at the Arabian Horse Center. But whenever we run horses on a treadmill, we always have fans on them, and we also use a heart rate monitor. For those of you who have run on a treadmill, you just start sweating a lot because you have no air movement. The same thing with the horse. There's no air movement. That's why it's really important to run a fan. All right. So if you haven't done the welcome and introduction just on the discussion board, please do that. It is graded and it's due by August 27th. And then also the commonalities. I used to do this in class. First day of class, I'd break everybody into groups of about 10 people, and they had to come up with commonalities because that way you guys talk to each other. So this was my second resource to be able to get you guys to talk to each other. And hopefully you guys can make some connections with some of your peers, even if it's virtual. Any questions? If anybody has any questions and comments, any concerns, this is that
Hello?
cricket moment. Cricket, cricket,
Hello?
cricket. Hi, Norma.
Hi, I had trouble coming into the class earlier, so I just want to know, like, did I miss much or any other assignments that I'm unaware of?
Oh my gosh, she's already missed an assignment. I'm kidding. No, you haven't missed anything. And I meant to say something. So there was some people like on my Zoom on Thursday night class, I had one student had really difficulty getting on too, and I don't know why. There's only 17 in that class. It's a graduate level class. But she was using the right meeting ID and password, and it just wouldn't let her get in until like 20 minutes late. So if you didn't make it in on time, don't worry about it. You didn't miss anything. The presentation is posted on Blackboard, And everything that I said is in the presentation, except for you missed some of my jokes that nobody laughed at, maybe. Does that help, Norma?
Yeah, it helps. And of course, we just mentioned the assignments about introducing ourselves to August 27th.
Correct, which is Thursday.
Awesome. Okay.
Right. And so when things are due, the due date is by 11:59 p.m. on that date. So you have till midnight of the date. Yeah, so there are already quite a few postings already on the discussion boards for both the welcome and also the commonalities. And the instructions are also directly on the discussion board itself.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
I just enjoyed looking at other people's pets, like just seeing every once in a while, seeing them bring up their pet. It was cute.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. It is. It kind of breaks it up. It brings in people's personalities. I mean, you guys get to see it's my office extra bedroom. You know, I didn't want to do a virtual background. I've seen people do those virtual back and I don't. Darlene, is that how you pronounce your name?
Jureli.
Jolene, yeah. So and yours is Jarelli. Thank you. But I was we had a college meeting the other day, and one of the faculty members had a virtual background on his screen, and it was such a bad quality that the lights were coming out of his eyes, and he looked like he was a devil. And I tried the virtual background, and with the virtual background, you have to stay in a certain position, because if you move too far back, you end up going into the virtual background or something. And yeah, I was talking to a friend once on Zoom, and her husband came from behind her and just like walked through her virtual background, which was really kind of weird. So yeah, all right. Look, we're at 5:50. We're right on time. I will have module 2 posted in the next couple of days. Please remember to do the 2 postings on the discussion board by the 27th, and do not hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions. Okay? Bye. We will see you soon. You're welcome. Great to see everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Everybody.
Bye.
Guys, stay
Thank
safe.
you.
Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome.